Hey guys, it's your boy Rumz here, and you are watching a 416 interview.
I want to ask you is what made you start creating music?
It's actually a funny story. So, when I moved here, it was like I think it was back in elementary school. A lot of people like were watching like the super hot fire videos, and then like two guys in my class were like, doing that type of stuff, and then like I kind of just was like, oh, like it's kind of fun, and then I kind of jumped in with some like lyrics that weren't mine type of thing, and everyone was going crazy like, whoa, this guy could like spit like or rap whatever. So then I kind of had to run with it, so I kind of just went home, and then like I actually started to write music, and I've always been a huge fan of music regardless. So like me doing that, it kind of gave me like creative freedom, and I kind of enjoyed that, and like I just started to do it ever since then, and just grew within the years. So
Oh, what's the story behind the name Rums?
the story behind it, so my last name is actually Rumble, like Royal Rumble, and my brother, if he ever watches this, he's back home in England, and he was a part of like some stuff, and he went by the name of Young Rums at the time. And then I was kind of looking for a name, and I was like, I don't know, I just took it from him, and then I just dropped the young because I don't want to be like young or little, like none of that. And I just called myself Rums, and ever since then, everyone I know has just been calling me Rums and all that. So that's kind of how the name came about.
When did you move from the UK to Toronto?
So I moved back in 2012, literally just at the end of the year. So I was 13 years old at the time. It's been a good experience. I've been here for over 10 years or 12 years now. And I love it. It's at the time, I've seen that Canada is a developing country. Now it's obviously what it is now, as everybody should know. But at the time I moved, it was a land of opportunity, and I just wanted to be a part of something like that. So that's the reason why I decided to move. And also, my dad wanted to move too. So
You miss the UK or not?
I do. I have my flashbacks here and there. Like I still have family over there. As I said, my brother. I have my mom over there. Um, and like, there's certain things about Canada that the UK has that Canada doesn't have. Like, for example, like local stores. Like, it's more of a, I would say, tight knit in terms of community wise. I would say so. Like those type of elements, I would say, is what I miss. But apart from that, like I love Canada. So.
All right, I want to hop into your music now, bro. What's your creative process like when you create a song?
So the creative process is actually just whenever I hear a beat that I personally vibe with and I like, I usually just download the beat, listen to it a couple times, and then for me, I just whatever the first sentence that comes out of my head type of thing, or the first word, I try to like act upon that and then base my song around that, and then just keep going and going. I usually start with a hook, so the hook always would come first. And yeah, I just build upon that. So
Are you more of a freestyler or do you like to write?
no, not a freestyler. I give props to anybody that can freestyle, not me. I'm more of a writer. I like to take time with my stuff. I like to really like break down my lyrics and analyze a song before I even step into the booth type of thing. So yeah.
And then when it comes to beats, bro, how picky are you?
Honestly, I'm not picky, but there's certain styles that I rock with more, I would say. Like for example, there was a phase where I was listening to like, you know, basic Toronto beats, like those Chief Keef type stuff, and like way back in the day, like the LB, those type of beats. Nowadays I'm more upon the hip hop rock stuff, like for example Ken Carson, like Lil Uzi, Playboy Cardi, those type of beats. Those are what really attract me the most. But honestly, like I love just listening to different sounds and different type of genres. So like You will like they'll be surprised if you catch you on like maybe like a country type beat, for example, like a Morgan Wallen or something like that. Like I'm very versatile in that sense.
I want to go back to you coming from England. Do you take like inspiration from any of the music scene out there or nah?
100%, 100%. Um, basically like the scene out there, especially with grime, was more lyric based. So in my music, I try to focus a lot on my lyrical content and what I say. I don't want to be just talking just to talk. Like I actually want to make the song make sense. So yeah, like for example, there's artists like Skepta, JME, like I listen to gigs, those type of guys like I kind of look up to, especially when I first started, and I kind of like based my style upon like what they've emulated. So,
I know you mentioned a couple artists, but what kind of artists do you want to work with if you had the chance with in England?
ooh, that is actually a good question. Like I would love to work with a bunch of artists. One person that I've kind of like drawn to in the coming years. And he's a very, very, very good lyricist. Is Chip. He's a very, very, very good, talented artist. Um, he's a he's a grime. I would say a grime originator. He started his thing back when he was young and too. So he's one artist that I do look up to and I would love to work with. I'm also about working with a bunch of people. So even if I were to work with like Skepta or JME, those type of guys, Storm, it'd be a blessing in disguise, to be honest.
And then in general, bro, like outside of the UK as well, what kind of artists you looking to work with, especially in Toronto?
In Toronto, honestly, there's a lot of people coming up in the underground. So, I mean, like for example, I see 10K, Moss, Wavy, those guys, like they're doing their thing. Josh is another one I would love to work with. Like, there's also Fresh Boy Clay, like that guy's sick. There's honestly so many talented people that I would love to work with in the city. So, I'm open. That's kind of my thing.
And then, bro, you had an article come out with for sure, bro. You talk about having writer's block, bro. How did you kind of get over that? Because I'm sure at one point every artist kind of goes through that.
Yeah, that was something I actually had to learn and to get over, and it kind of influences my creative process now. So, for example, like I would hear a beat and like I would just be stuck, and I was just like, "What the heck am I gonna say?" So I've kind of just I like to get over that. I kind of just learned how to just think of the first thing and kind of build off of that. So like instead of just being stuck and overthinking the music, like just let it be free and just speak and write whatever you feel. So that was a way I kind of got over that. So
What do you rate more, the Toronto's music scene or like what the London and like UK kind of thing they got going out there?
it's really tough to say which one for me because the Toronto scene, like the way I look at music is everybody's different, right? So like especially like I've connected with some artists in the UK that are doing the underground stuff too. Like, for example, I gotta shout out my guy Lil Panda. He's definitely he's a youngin' coming up. LC is another guy I've connected with, and like honestly, it's just two different sides of the coin. I mean, Toronto also has that stuff too, and there's other talented artists outside of the underground that I've just been drawn to. Like I can name a bunch of artists, but like even in the R&B and all that stuff. So I mean, I kind of rate both in the sense. If I had to really choose, I would say Toronto is more. I would say more diverse and more open with certain things. I mean, like the UK is like the underground stuff is kind of coming up. Um, as to for Toronto, this is kind of up there and coming up even further. And then the R&B stuff and everything else in between. So.
Has like the grime scene in like the UK, has that always just been there?
Yeah, it's been there since I was a kid. Like my older brother would tell me a lot of like a lot of artists. You'd be listening to like artists like Wiley. I don't know if many people would know, but he's one of, I would say, one of the OGs in grime too. Um, and like it's always just been a, it's kind of like how the underground is now, or before, like before the mainstream of like Yeet and all those guys coming up. It's kind of how that scene was in terms of grime. And then it just kind of grew immensely from there. And obviously you got big artists that started it becoming mainstream now, like Skepta and all those guys that I didn't mention before. So it's always been there. It has always been there, and is a, I would say it's a staple in the UK for sure.
What's your advice for artists in the music industry, bro?
My advice, for anybody listening to my advice, would be just to be yourself. I've even spoken to other like artists that I've met because I've seen and been in the industry a little bit. Um, and it's literally the same thing. Just be yourself. Don't really follow just to follow. Just be yourself and live your truth. Live what you feel is the best.
And then lastly, any new projects coming out?
I do have a song that I'm looking to drop real, real soon. Date is very tentative right now, but it is on the way. I also do have two projects actually in mind for the end of the year or mid-year, that I want to drop. It's called Love to Lust 2. It's going to be a two-sided project that I want to drop for everybody. All my followers that have followed me know that I've been pushing that agenda. So it is going to be on the way. And, for anybody watching this, just be patient. Time is one of those things that, you just gotta be very, very patient. The music is gonna come, and when it drops, I'll be so like proud, and to show you guys what I've been working on for sure. Appreciate everyone for staying locked in with me and watching this interview. You can catch my music on Spotify, Apple Music, all streaming platforms. Call me Rumz is my Instagram at, so make sure you go follow me for more updates. And with that being said, my name is Rumz, and you're watching a 416 interview. Layers.
How we supposed to hate when you been showing love to me, yeah. Stuck going one way, trying to take off, but I ain't on the road.